What's up, everyone, and welcome to 10-Minute Tasting, where we take 10 minutes out of our day to tell you about a beer that we're really excited about. And today, it is none other than STiVO Pils. This is a Keller Pils from Firestone Walker in collaboration with Russian River Brewing Company. Wow, this is an all-star beer. This one is a must-grab. You got to get your hands on this one. And I cannot wait to try this beer. Joining me for this tasting is actually my buddy, Sam Tierney, brewer over at Firestone Walker's Venice location. And he's gonna tell us a little bit about the backstory behind this beer and the brew day with Vinnie from Russian River, which was probably a dream come true. And then we're gonna crack open a can and taste it together. So if you have tried STiVO Pils, you know that we're in for a treat. If you haven't, this is now on your radar officially. Before I bring Sam on, a little bit about where you can find this beer. So dropping today, Venice, Brynildson, and Paso Robles will be in cans and on tap. The 3 locations will also have Pivo and Russian River's STS. So you can kind of taste all 3 of them side by side and kind of see where the inspiration for STiVO came to be. And then for anyone in NorCal, Russian River is pouring STiVO from their 2 tap rooms as well. And for anyone that cannot make it to a Firestone Walker location to pick up this beer, they are shipping. So head over to firestonebeer.com and you can order cans of this shipped straight to your door in California, as well as several other states. So that's firestonebeer.com. You don't want to miss out on this beer. So let me see if I can bring Sam on now. Oh, here we go. It's working.
Hey, Gary, what's up?
Sam, what's up, man? Good to see you.
I made it, finally.
How you doing, man?
Great, yeah. I'm very excited to be releasing this beer and very excited to be talking to you about it.
I am really excited to crack this beer open. I haven't drank this beer since, I think, 2016, when it was for the Firestone Walker Invitational. And I'm really excited that it's in cans now.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, it was a great experience to finally get to do that. And yeah, you know, I really think fondly back to that 2016 batch. I actually got married a couple weeks after the Invitational in 2016, so we were able to have that first batch on at my wedding too. So this beer's always held a special place for me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. So for anyone that doesn't know who you are, just like a quick intro of who is Sam Tierney, just very existential right now.
Yeah, I mean, I run the Propagator brewery in Venice Beach for Firestone. So, you know, we're a 10 hectoliter brewery. So, you know, it's about 10 barrels, European German Casper Schultz system. And yeah, we just make a small batch beer and work out new recipes and new ideas for Firestone.
Awesome. Let's dive into the beer. We got 10 minutes. The clock is running. So before we jump into it, quick backstory. What is STiVO Pils? How did it come to be?
So yeah, STiVO was this project, like you said, going back to 2016 with Vinnie and Natalie from Russian River, and you know, their amazing STS Pilsner being this, you know, really awesome beer that we loved, and you know, and they're big fans of Pivo Pils, and you know, they had the idea back then to come together and make a Keller beer that was kind of a mashup of the 2 ideas and our 2 kind of visions for making Pilsner. And so that's basically how it came to be, just kind of putting our heads together and coming up with this awesome version that combines what we love about both of those beers.
You had the fortune of being able to host this collaboration brew at your brew house in Venice. Matt came down and Vinnie from Russian River came down. I mean, what it would be like to be a fly on the wall for that brew day. Like, what were you feeling going into that? Is it excited, intimidation? Like, what was that brew day all about for you?
I mean, yeah, it was very intimidating, you know, kind of, obviously, you know, working for Matt for years now, the kind of like the factors worn off of just being that like homebrewer geek when I was younger, being like, oh my God, like it's so cool to work for Matt Brynildson. And it still is, you know, I mean, he's an amazing guy to work for and I love working with him. But, you know, being able to brew with Vinnie was an amazing experience as well, and something that I'd always dreamed of being able to do down here at our small brew house, and get both those guys together and just talk beer and brewing for a whole day, and make an awesome beer, and then hopefully, just stress all the little details and make sure everything went exactly as planned and that the beer turned out great.
And so let's dive into it now. Let's give this beer a pour. Awesome artwork on this can also.
Yeah, we've developed a great relationship with Nachi, the artist that did this label, and she's been doing some amazing work for us, and I've loved all the labels she's done for our Propagator series beers.
Yeah, this is really neat. So just kind of diving into first thing, appearance. Talk to me a little bit about the style itself and how that translates to what you're seeing in the glass.
Yeah, so like I was saying, it's a Keller style Pilsner, so it's taken the elements that we love about Pivo and STS, which are not completely dissimilar beers. We have a few key differences in how we approach it, but it's just kind of mashing those up. So the big thing is that it features Aramis and Saphir hops, and we feature Saphir and Pivo. They feature Aramis and STS, and so pulling those two hops together, you get a lot of great complexity. Some really interesting, like, subtle fruit notes, but both Aramis being a French hop that's descended from Strisselspalt, which is the classic French aroma hop, and then Saphir being a newer German variety that has a lot of the typical noble character you expect, but also a little bit of kind of a lemony citrusiness too. So you kind of get that, plus this really nice herbal, spicy, subtle, fruity character in the Aramis, and that all comes together and just makes this, like, I think just a really, really great hop profile, and makes me after every time we brewed this, I want to use more Aramis. So maybe we finally need to make that happen with another new beer here. But
yeah, it's super aromatic. Like, the aromas are really just coming right out of it.
Yeah, and it is subtly dry hop. So this is a dry hop Pilsner. It's kind of that kind of original, Italian style. I mean, obviously we were influenced by Birrificio Italiano's STiVO Pils to make Pivo way back in the day, before, anyone really crystallized the idea of what an Italian Pilsner was. We just thought, oh, that's a really cool touch to add a little bit of a dry hop to a German style Pilsner, essentially. And then, STS is also similar. It's also dry hop. So there is a small dry hop of both of those in here. And then because it's a Keller beer, it's unfiltered, unfined. So, you see after several weeks of lagering, it's cleared up a bit, but it still retains that unique character you get from an unfiltered Keller style Pilsner, where, it has a little bit more of a hop bite, that you get. It's not quite as smooth and polished as you would get if you filtered it, which, is always fun. It's like, you can argue which way is better, but it's fun to be able to do something a little different for this one.
Yeah, so the Keller style is that essentially like just unfiltered, unfined? Is that essentially what that means, or is there anything more to that?
Yeah, essentially that's the main difference. Is traditionally, lagers in Germany are almost all filtered, and when you're pulling a Keller beer, that kind of style goes back to just pulling beer straight off the lagering tank. Usually after it hasn't lagered for quite as long of a time, there's still a little bit of yeast, there's still a little bit of a hop polyphenol and protein in solution that just makes for a little bit different drinking experience. And so for a hoppier beer like a Pilsner, I think you just get a little bit more of that kind of fresh hoppy quality to it. It's not quite as rounded.
From an aroma standpoint, you mentioned it's got like some noble character, little bit of, like, I feel like lime, like, like citrus character on the aroma as well. It's bright. You have like a little bit of that bready lager characteristic as well. Slight sulfur. Very nice.
I think that's kind of the hallmark of that. Like, the Keller style is it's a little younger, a little fresher, so you should get that, like, whiff of sulfur quality from the German lager yeast that we use. And then, yeah, like you're saying, I think that Aramis Saphir combo gives you that interesting, almost like lime leaf, lemongrass type quality, along with a little bit of more like herbal spicy thing going on.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna taste it. Cheers. That's a great beer to start the day with. Wow. Fantastic. One of the things I love about the Keller style is the softness that it brings. Like, it's got this really, like, nice soft edge to it that you don't typically see in the traditional Pilsner. I really like that. great floral character to this too. Like really, really nice bouquet, slight citrus, nice floral, herbal spiciness, really nice. Just, I mean, yes, it's noble like, but it's not. I don't think it's traditionally noble. There's a little bit of kind of like fruity, like the citrus, but also a little fruitiness to it, kind of on the edges as well. Yeah, great stuff, man. This is an awesome beer. Wow. I'm so excited to have it back.
Yeah, it's such an honor to be able to work with these guys. And, Vinnie had never been down to our LA brewery, so getting him in here was really awesome. And we had a great time brewing on the little system here. And, it's like I love making Pilsner on this brew house, honestly, because it's made to make Pilsner. That it's, Kasper Schultz from Bamberg in Bavaria. And, there's tons of little breweries in Germany that run basically the same brew house we have here. And, when you're making a Pilsner like this, a 5% or so Pilsner, it's just the perfect beer, and it's just, everything goes right.
Yeah. Wow. This is so good. To everyone watching, get your hands on this beer. I kicked this off saying this is an all-star beer. This is a must grab. And yeah, it follows through on every single point in the experience of drinking this beer. So, Sam, thanks so much for brewing it. Thanks so much for joining me today and talking me through it. I feel like I appreciate this beer a little more than I would if I drank it without talking to you. So hopefully people get that same experience watching the replay. And yeah, here's to many more STiVO Pils here today.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary. Cheers. Yeah, great talking with you.
Cheers, man.